All right, we are live. Well, hopefully. Hey, everybody. Welcome to your nightmare. This is Jack Mangan. I'm rocking the Overkill shirt today. East Coast thrash, East Coast metal. Really quick announcement. You know me from the Metal Hall of Fame, Metal Asylum, and Am I Evil graphic novel, telling the story of Am I Evil in graphic novel form. And today's a big day for that project because we're releasing the novella all text version. So check your inboxes if you're interested. Our guest today is, I'm completely honored. 13-year-old me is super impressed, and old me is super impressed. Frank Bello of Anthrax, thank you so much for taking some time to talk to us tonight, man. It's an honor. It's great to talk.
Thanks, Jack. How are you, Jack?
Doing well. How are you doing?
I'm good. Freezing my palutzas off over here in New York in my basement in wonderful cold New York, 37 degrees New York. I'm going to keep bitching about that because we were talking a little bit about this before. I was doing my fencing in the background, and yesterday, today, this afternoon, not yesterday, all over the place. But long story short, I was freezing. I mean, I'm still shivering. So that's where this comes in. It's just water. It's all good.
Okay.
Just to warm me up a little bit.
Yeah,
I'm over. You're in Arizona. I'm jealous. How about envious? I'm envious with you right now. Right.
Do you want to know? I can tell you what the temperature is if you want to know.
If you must go.
Actually, I got to look it up. It's warm. I won't rub it in anymore. So, I know the East Coast. Rich Catino, my cohort can't be here tonight. He's still back east. I know the cold of the East Coast. I love it.
Yeah, he's frozen. He can't move. That's why he's not back yet. I get it.
Yeah, exactly. He's like Jack Nicholson at the end of The Shining. Spoilers. But anyway, so you're the talk of the town right now, man, with your book, which we see in the background. It's amazing. Can you tell us a little bit about, the reaction you've been getting and how that feels and just all about it?
I got to tell you, Jack, to be honest, I'm honored. And you have to say all the right things. I get it, but I didn't expect it, to be really honest with you, man. The one thing I was really nervous about is letting the book out and exposing myself. Really, everything about my life is in there, and it's really scary. Specifically, some certain points that even after I proofread the book 1,000 times, I kept asking my wife, "Should I put this in there? Should I put this in there?" And she kept saying, this is your life, man. This is you. If you want to be honest, and that's what I want to do. I felt by saying the things I said in the book, and again, this is all my life story. I thought it could help some people. Instead of just throwing out this biography, which there's a lot of great ones out there, this rock biography, I just thought there's a lot of things that I learned that could help people. And that could really help people. And that's what the letters, I'm getting letters, so many letters, so many comments from this book about how this has helped them. People that are reading the book, it's making them feel better about what they're doing, about when they fall down, they can get up and move on with their lives. They've had some hardships, loss, all that. And look, if a book can help them, if it's a story that I told from my life can help anybody, why not, man? Especially in these times, why not help another person feel better about what's going on in their lives?
Yeah, that's great, man. And it is so real. I mean, I've read the book, of course. I posted a review. It is such a real and heartfelt thing, and the rawness of your emotion. I really felt it. I felt like it was great. Actually, on a lighter tone, you see, buddy J.R. Murdoch says, after reading Scott's book, I can't wait to read yours, which is something I wanted to touch on. I think, I've read Scott's book too. Scott's book is great. I think for Anthrax fans, they're kind of a great, each are independent, each stand alone, but, they're kind of a great one too, but they're very different. I mean, what can you tell us about how the contrast between the two books, between Scott Ian's On the Man, of course, and then your book?
No, what's great about having Scott's both books, I think they're both great. Both of those books, I think it's great to have them out. So I can stay away from all that stuff, the history and all that great stuff that we've had. And I thought that was great to have it out there already. So I didn't want to reiterate what Scott said. I thought it was important for me to tell my story in Anthrax, and take you along. And you probably read this already, Jack, from the other interviews I've done. I always wanted this to be a book where Joe McIver, my co-writer, I said to him, the first thing I want to do is make it like we're at a bar. sitting down, we're having a drink, a pint or a coffee, and we're just sitting down and we're telling stories to each other. I just want to convey that. I think that's really important. And I think from the feedback I'm getting back from this and the reviews, thankfully, all good, thank God. They're getting that. I just told my story. And I think that's important. My story, the way I saw things in Anthrax, there's a lot of great rock and roll Anthrax stories in here. Anthrax on tour, Pantera, Metallica. So I have to say that because there's a lot of heavy stuff, but I think it balances out. I tried to Joel and I decided to really try to balance it out. Yeah, there's some heavy stuff in there. My brother's passing, my brother's murder and all that stuff. My father abandoning, all that stuff. Heavy stuff that people deal with every day. People deal with loss. People deal with abandonment. I think that's important to put in this book because the way I look at it is like, look, I'm at this age now. I guess I'm kind of reflective, and I think it's important to pay it forward. So if somebody else is having a hard time with abandonment, a loss in their lives, of a loved one, whatever that is, if they can see what I went through and how I brushed myself off and moved on with my life, that's important to me, man, at this point. I think to pay it forward and say, if one person, I always say this, if one person could read my book and get something like that and move on in their life to tomorrow and feel better about things, then the book has done its job.
Yeah, great. Very well said, man. And as I said, I think I do admire the fact that you went there, and it's great. That you said that you had. I can believe that you had those conversations with your wife because a lot of it is really raw, and you don't see a lot of that in rock and roll stories. That said, though, I like how you're very cool about it. Like you said, it's a very cool tone to it. Like you don't trash. You don't get into trash talking. I wouldn't say Scott trash talks, but he definitely lays it out. This guy did this, this guy did that. And you kind of, I love the story about when you got interrupted taking a piss on tour. But I love the fact also that you said, yeah, I won't say his name, but you'll figure it out. But that's awesome. And I don't know how much
That's the
story you
question
want
of
to
the
give
book.
away, but
Jack, it's funny you say that. That's the question. All the people coming and writing to me, who is this person that tapped you? Who is the person that had to go to the bathroom and throw me out of that bathroom? And this is all in the book. It's it. Look, I'll go to the grave with that because I have to. I promised I'd go to the grave with that. That actually happened. I didn't want that to happen, dude. All I wanted to do was to play that very big show that day. I have never since, before that or after it, ever had that happen. That was the only time somebody from a bigger band, all that stuff. I just didn't understand how that can happen. I understand everybody poops. But you wait till the person, you be a normal person. Wait till the guy's done peeing. And I'm just about, they knew what I was doing. They knew I was going on stage. I was going on stage. I was taking my pre-show piss. That's literally what was happening. I can't believe, and the guy's hand, when I say this, went onto my shoulder, and I can't exaggerate this because it was huge. The guy's hand was like that, dude. It was huge. It was on my shoulder. And I just looked, I still see the dude's face. I'm like, really? This is happening? I'm about to go on stage. Oh my God, you really want me out of here midstream? And everybody knows when you stop your pee, you can't start it up again real quick. It doesn't matter. So I was like, no, I'm going to finish it. Meanwhile, I'm stopping. I can't go. I'm like, fuck, man, I can't even finish this piss. Even after I was pissed and everything, I had to walk out with a half a piss in me for the show. So be it. I went on with it, and I used the angst from that for the show, so it actually worked out pretty well.
Right. Caught in the mosh. Had a little bit extra that night. Yeah, no,
little extra oomph. Yeah.
Well, you know what? I have to actually. We definitely. There's a lot more to talk about with the book, but I actually have to deviate from the book a little bit because I have a question from my older daughter for you.
Sure.
So this question's got to take. I should ask this first, but she wants to know. So let me make sure I got it right. She wants to know. Well, she said, what was the inspiration for Madhouse?
Madhouse. It was just Scott Ian lyric, but right away, that's a better question for Scott. But for me, I always take it. I look at his lyrics and I say, this is what it means for me. But look, that was a very young band. It's a Madhouse. Think about where we were. It's a chopped up inside here, all that stuff. Whatever the lyrics are. It's about being in a madhouse. Look at the video. Look at the video. Has she seen the video?
To be honest, I don't know.
Go to
I think she's
YouTube and
only
watch
heard
the
it through
video
streaming.
and tell her, for me, that's what it means. Because all my friends were, the Madhouse of that was actually a real insane asylum. That was pretty crazy. It was abandoned an insane asylum. That was a fun video. So yeah, I would say Madhouse. It's a madhouse. My life is a madhouse.
Hopefully not so much now, but yeah, no, I get
No,
it.
no. But there were times, dude. Today outside when I was screaming at the fence because I couldn't fix it the right way, that was a madhouse. That was part of, that's the other book, man. That's the other side of Frank when I have to do things around the house and I cut my hands. That one right there today. That's what they call that's what they call Frank shouldn't touch tools right there. Yeah. Good times.
But see, this comes back around to something, and I've watched a couple of the other interviews, and by the way, great job on the interviews, and great job. Some of these other guys took all the good questions, but I want to, I'll touch on something I saw you comment and other people talk about, is just how freaking real you are. Like, I would have been blown away had I known, while I was obsessing over spreading the disease, that you were working in a deli at that time. Like, while I was cranking that tape in my house, like I would have imagined you were on, like, in a limousine to your mansion, surrounded by women and money, but you're working in a deli, which is awesome. I'm not like, that's a great thing.
See, I love it, Jack. I love it. I love the fact that people have that idea in their head, because I want that fantasy to be true for them. I want them to take Frank Bello's on spreading the disease, and he's making all this money, and there's women, there's everything. Meanwhile, I'm literally cutting a piece of liverwurst, right after that tour. I mean, in the Bronx, my Uncle Joe's Deli. That's what we did. I mean, there wasn't money. People think record deal. Oh my God, he's rich. Oh my God. It doesn't work that way. I wish it did. I wish it did for all musicians, but it just doesn't. You have to pay your dues. And those were my dues. And I was very grateful to have that job. My Uncle Joe, I love him to death. I went around, as soon as we came home, I asked him right off the bat, look, I'm coming home. Can I go back in? And me going back into work made him work less, which was good, because it was better for him because he worked so hard. And I was great it was great that I can go in there and actually take some hours away from him to make him rest with his family. That was important. So it all worked out very, very nicely. And look, it also kept me very grounded. So you come from these stages, right? We were just in clubs in those days anyway. But you also learn, don't forget where you came from. And that's what, it's great that you never leave that, because I was going right back into the deli after the tour. So think about that. And it really is smart for me. It was smart for me to keep my head where in reality, and that's what I did. I thought it was fortunate.
Yeah. Well, no, it's just fantastic stuff. All right, I got a couple more questions about the book.
No, go, dude. I'm here.
Yeah, and sorry if some of these are repeats for you, because I know you've been doing a lot of press for the book, but
that's why I'm here. I appreciate the press for this is why I'm here. I've never sold a book before. This is how I do it. Okay, I'll do it. I sold records. I just didn't know how to do a book, so let's do this.
No, you're doing great. Well, I'll say, to me, I feel like the book is such a love letter to New York. It's such a love letter to the 70s. I mean, I know you mentioned Scorsese movies a lot. I mean, tell us a little bit about, you and I chat a little bit about New York, New Jersey ahead of time before we started rolling. But, tell us a little bit about, just being a kid in New York and what it looks like to you now. I mean, how is it different now to when you're
growing up? And you know this, Jack, growing up, and you're from New Jersey, so you went to the city a lot. And I say the city. See, I didn't say New York City, because us people who are around the city, we go to the city. We didn't go to New York City. We just go to the city. Right. The city was big for me. Look, you had all the music. You had CBGBs. Look, remember, this is where Kiss was from. Remember that. Big deal in my life. My heroes, and this is all in the book, I have to say that, my heroes were in the city. I went to a coin management with my friend Tom and went to meet the guys in Kiss in New York City. That was the special place. So that was the place I could meet my heroes. It was very special to me. So and then go to all the great shows. Look, you have Greenwich Village, you have Tribeca, there's so many great places. And I say, and look, 42nd Street, Jack, and you know this because you're from New Jersey. There was something cool about, I get it. I get seediness. I completely understand people. It was dangerous and all that great stuff. I get the porn shops and all, the peep shows and all that stuff. Something very cool about that. So I have to say, and look, I've been in a few in my life, as you probably have. No, I know we're all married and all that good stuff, but in those days, in our youth, that the seediness kind of kept you look. You kept your eyes open. You have to be street smart and make sure you watch what's around you and stuff like that. There's, no doubt we could all get mugged at any second. But there was something very cool for me now. It's so different to see Disneyland on 42nd Street. It's Disneyland, dude. It's this huge theater with big money. All these. There's something cool about that. I understand, but if you're asking me, there's something cooler about the 70s vibe. It was dirtier, it was grimier, it was totally seedier, but there was a neighborhood thing to it. And now I feel like the corporations came in. This is me just seeing what I see. Corporations came in and cleaned it up. Yes, and it's very safe for everybody to come in, come to town, come to New York City. I get it. For me, the neighborhoods and the character and the soul of New York City really was bought up. All the neighborhood, the mom and pop shops, I miss them. I miss the record company, the record stores. I don't miss those record companies. The record stores. I miss. Sorry, that's a Freudian slip. I miss that. You can go into the stores in the Village, and there's so many of them that were great. Bleecker Bob's, all these great little
Bleecker
stores.
Bob's, yeah.
Bleecker Bob's. I'm sure you've been there a million times.
All the T-shirts too.
Absolutely, dude. It was all the above, And when I go to a place like Electric Lady, and I say this in the book, where the first place I met Anthrax actually worked at, which was awesome. So Electric Lady, which Jimi Hendrix made famous. The first time I met Steve Harris was around the corner from there. It was because we went there, and this was in the book. One of the stories is we went down there to meet. Heard Iron Maiden was mixing a record there. We knock on the door. My friend Tom did. And says, "We're here to see Steve." He said, "There's a camera there," and the guy goes, "Well, Steve's not here. He's out having dinner." We know that whole landscape there. So as you probably know, Jack, very well. You know the restaurants all around there, and we just so happened it was fucking freezing. It was freezing when I say it was less than 37 degrees as it is today. It was freezing. We had the leather jackets on, all that stuff. So we went freezing around, looking through the restaurants, and it just so happened right around the corner, this big picture window, right above. You know what the Comedy Cellar is?
Actually, no.
It's a comedy. It's a famous comedy place. It's called the Comedy Cellar. There's a restaurant right above it. Well, I don't even know if it was still the same restaurant or whatever, but it just so happened that location, when we walked around shivering outside, who's there sitting by himself was Steve Harris from Iron Maiden. And it was incredible because we were just standing out there just waiting for him to come out and get an autograph and all that stuff. And he sees us and we get the wave, dude. He waves us in. This was Fantasyland, dude. It was complete Fantasyland. Right. So we couldn't believe. We look at each other. No. So we scramble upstairs. He calls us in. He goes, "Hi, mates. How are you? Have a seat." He sits us down and buys us dinner. Talks about anything we wanted to know about Maiden was answered that night. He was just the best host and the best person in the world. Taught me a lot about how to treat your fans and how to be a human to your fans and be appreciative. And I'm very appreciative. To this day, I still tell him he knows the story. He's great, Steve. He's a friend of mine. It's great. Having Gene Simmons write the foreword of my book, you have to understand how special that is to me. It's very special because I was the kid going downtown to meet Gene so much and bother him. And when I say bother him, it's with love. Bother him for autographs and finding out what's next for Kiss. We were very fortunate to do that. There's some great stories with him in the studio where he let us in the studio and he made us hear a song. It's all in the book.
Yeah.
As young fans, he let us hear "Young and Wasted," that song, "Young and Wasted." I'll never forget it. Another person, he's a hero who taught me how to treat fans. And I think it's so important to pay it forward and make people know that these great icons of music, Steve Harris, Gene Simmons, how great they are from way back then. Not only because he wrote the foreword to my book, which I love, which I'm very proud of, and it really touches me because I've never heard Gene talk like that about his dad. I heard him talk about his mom. His mom would have, God rest her soul, she was a beautiful soul. The whole thing it's overwhelming with this book. I'm I'm overwhelmed with the publicity it's getting and the hype and the great reviews. So people are getting it because it's. I tried to be as real as I could, and I'm very fortunate, and I feel I'm humbled by it. I am.
Yeah, well, amazing. And you know, one of the things, another thing about the book is it really does humanize some of these people that we all put on pedestals, including yourself. You know, not throwing empty flattery at you, but including you. But yeah, Gene Simmons. Now, I don't know Gene Simmons, so all you Kiss fans out there, just hold your horses a second. I only know Gene Simmons' reputation. His reputation is, well, first of all, the larger than life, but also kind of he has a reputation for being an asshole. But that's not the Gene in your book. He writes a beautiful, you're right, the beautiful, beautiful forward. And then the stories about him, like, this is a sweet man. This is not the guy who I'm hearing.
Yeah,
like,
Gene's not only a great guy, he's got heart. And that's the best compliment I can give him. He's got heart. He comes from, Gene is, he's one of the better dads I've seen. Have you seen him with his children? How great of a dad he is. If this book means anything about trying to be a great dad, that's what I'm trying to do. And seeing Gene Simmons, how great he is to his two children, I've loved watching that whole ride. Even with the TV show and all that stuff, he's a great dad. And I mean, people should just see that part of him alone and say, wow, all right, there you go. Well, there you go. Aside from being the demon, that whole character thing, the guy's got a huge heart, and he loved his mother. It wasn't an easy beginning for Gene, if you know his story. So from where he came from to build up what Gene Simmons is and will continue to be, for me, man, that's a guy I want to know. That's a guy I want to know.
And see, you set me up. That's perfect, because one of the questions I wanted to ask was, let's talk about how is becoming a dad. How has that really changed you? You know, as a rock star and also as a person. Like, talk to me. You know, we're dad to dad now. Talk to us about
dad to dad. I love talking to dad. I'm pro dad. Again, and I only say this just like if the people watching this, just so you know, I'm so like this about dads and positivity and all that stuff. The only reason why I'm like that, because I know you're supposed to be the metal guy. Look, when you grow up without this stuff, all you want to do is better that. You want to better it for your generation, for your kids. I have a 15-year-old boy that I will never let be alone. When you're abandoned like that, when somebody takes off and just pulls the rug from under you, you don't know where the hell, what happened here? You know, is it my fault? You start questioning so much. You get insecure. Your whole life is changed, and it's rough. It's rough because you're insecure about a lot of things. And I find that talking to great dads, I want to instill that. I want to instill how important it is to be a great dad, to be there for your children, because I think it's very important going forward for everybody, generations to come, because I was on the other side, and I don't want anybody to feel that hole. That hole that's when they leave you, it's like, what the fuck? I don't have anybody to give me that backbone, to give me that confidence, and I don't want that for anybody. I don't think anybody should go through that, and that's where I'm at with. So for my son, I tell him all the time, I love you. I'm going to be here as long as I can, health-wise. And that's all it's about. So the book is, it's the strong women in my life. It's a tribute to them and my son. It's really, those are the people, the strong women in my life are the people who, after my dad took off, my grandmother, my mom, and my aunt, they took the ball and raised me to be the guy I am. And I'm very thankful for that. And my son, I want to be the best dad I could. My brother Anthony, it's a tribute to him because he was my brother, man. He was the real deal. So I have a lot to be thankful for and to say thank you.
All right, man. I love it. I have about 4,000 more questions, but I'm going to take a couple from. We got a couple of good comments. Here's this guy, Pat Gesualdo. No, he's the CEO of the Metal Hall of Fame. Hey, Pat, good to see you. He runs the DAD program, by the way. It's the Drums Against Disability. So it's good timing. And then, of course, Dina Marie Burgess, she made a comment while we were talking about Gene Simmons, just saying he's professional on stage too. Super easy to work with.
Gene Simmons is top notch. We've toured with him. He's top notch in every way. He's very professional in every way. He makes you look. When I see him play, remember, he's one of my heroes. That's when I first saw Kiss. I said, that's what I want to do. That's it. So I completely agree. He's very professional everywhere.
All right. Excellent. And then the question from J.R. Murdoch says, basically is asking, any chance we'll see a Bello lesson up there, like what Elfson has done on Scott's bass lessons?
There's always a chance. You know what? I love teaching. I would love to do that. It's just to be the right form for everybody, where everybody's happy. And I'm good with. I want to pay it forward. I want to pass the torch. If you like something I do, I thank you for that on bass, and I'm more than willing to help you achieve it. How about that?
All right, cool. Yeah. No, definitely. I think, again, I'm not into empty flattery, but definitely, you're definitely one of the bass heroes of our generation. Cliff Burton, you, Dee Dee Verney's obviously a big one.
I love Dee Dee. Dee's my boy, man. I love Dee Dee. Well, it's all this little tight-knit group you got there. I love all these guys. So I'm a student of bass, so I learn from everybody I look at, dude. I love all bass players. I want to learn something from everybody, because I don't think you ever stop learning. It would be silly to stop learning. That's the truth.
No, perfectly said. So you set up another one. So, you've collaborated with David Ellefson in the past. Are you guys going to get together again, do more altitudes and attitudes?
Well, right now, I'd love to get together again with Dave. And just so you know, I talk to Dave frequently. At least once a week we talk, so he's just one of my friends that'll always be my friend. So what I'm doing now is I'm writing solos. I have some solo stuff recorded. That's kind of like a continuation of the Altitudes and Attitude thing we did. It's kind of like some more of those songs that I have that I've recorded in the studio with some session guys that I love. I think Missy from Megaforce, and we'll figure out what we're going to do, when we're going to put that out. Maybe earlier next year. I'm going to ask her. Actually, that call is going to happen this week. But yeah, I like to do something like that first and do some solo stuff. I'm always open to working with Dave again. Absolutely.
Great. Any chance you'll get a guest appearance from Barbra Streisand on your?
Look, if you could arrange that, I'd sign up today. Dude, I've never met her, just so you know. And I know I'm kind of that giddy guy. I get it. I'm giddy when I get around people. When I met De Niro, at Seth Rogen, Seth Meyers show. Seth Meyers show. Anthrax met Robert De Niro because he was on the same show that night. Believe it or not, I don't know. That's just how it happened. It was amazing. I was tongue-tied. Because he's another one of my heroes. But he couldn't have been nicer. Really, really nice man. But if I ever met Barbara, and yeah, I don't know if you're supposed to say this as a metal guy. I've always been a Barbra Streisand fan because, and I'll give you the background real quick on this, because sure. In the early days, and this is in the book, when my dad and mom were fighting about, before divorce and all that stuff, hard sounds were coming out of that room. I'm going into another room, and what was on the radio, I would put my headphones on, and what was on the radio in those days, right? Barbra Streisand, and that would soothe me. That's what my therapist says. That's where it came from. So it really, one of my therapists, and so it really took the pain away. So when I hear her now, I hear her voice. I love her. Look, that's the truth. I love her voice. It soothes me and gets me out of a bad way, and that's it's always been like a soothing thing since I was really young. So I carry that to today. So I'll never forget that. I don't forget what made me feel good in the early days, because there was very little. That it was always music.
Yeah, it's great. And I think a lot of, it's not a rule, but I agree. I think a lot of times it is a thing of healing for people. And actually doing a Marie Burgess said, I'll put it up on it's definitely a healing thing. But we talked to, actually, if you guys don't know, Charlie Benante is Frank Bello's uncle. So we talked to Charlie earlier this year. And one of the comments that we made to him was, I said, for me, and another thing Anthrax did, of course, I loved Anthrax, but you guys also opened my eyes as a dumb, idiot teenage kid. Hey, you can like Public Enemy. You secretly do anyway. So you're allowed to like all that stuff. And so Anthrax was a huge stepping stone for me to opening my stupid mind cool. and realizing. So,
and Jack, there's no guilt in that. Dumb idiots. You're not a dumb idiot. The truth of the matter is, we just didn't know. People just don't know. Right. I had to be turned on to it too. When I saw Scott and I heard it, I said, that's fucking heavy. I love being turned on. That's what we're supposed to do. Remember the tape sharing days? I love being turned on to music. Turn me on to new music. I mean, I don't have a closed ear. I never have a closed ear. I'll listen to anything. I'll give anything a chance. Either you like it or you don't. Let's be honest. I think that was some of the heaviest stuff that was coming out, period. As soon as I heard Chuck D's voice, it was over. I knew that was it. That is so heavy. Yes, I'm in. I want to collaborate. I'm on. I'm on it. I'm ready. Let's do it. Totally righteous.
Yeah, and now he's another friend of yours, right? I mean, that's pretty awesome.
Buck's the best. He's in my book, and I love him. Absolutely.
Yeah. Well, do you want to riff on anything else that people would be surprised? Like, I mean, obviously Barbara Streisand's a surprise. I mean, it's cool, but I mean, is there anything else that people are like, really? You like that guy from Anthrax is also rocking out to?
I don't think you should. And the only thing I want to riff on is I don't think you should have anybody should be closed-minded because I play in a heavy metal band. Look, I grew up on hard rock and then metal, so I don't deny where I'm from. I don't think that's smart. I don't think it's important. It's like why would I say like I love hard rock too? I do. That's why I write hard rock songs. Excuse my burp. I just think it's important to be who you are. Everybody should be who they are. Like what you like. And there's not one thing you're supposed to like and you can't like this. No, you could like it all. That's what I've learned along all these years. It's like you could like it all. And it goes into the sponge that is your brain. And if you're a songwriter, it comes out that way. And it'll be something fresh for everybody to hear. And you put more into the universe. I think that's really important.
Yeah, very well said. Great stuff. All right, well, and if you guys out there watching, if you have any questions, feel free to drop them in. But I want to ask a couple other directions. So actually, what many people may not realize that this book is actually not your only book that was out this year. So talk to me a little bit about the Among the Living graphic novel. Like what did you do for that?
Just happened to have it ready.
Oh, see, there you go.
It's all product placement, dude. It's a product placement thing. Z2 put this out for us, and we worked on it. It's a lot of great artists, a lot of great writers in this thing. Okay. You can see it now, right?
Yeah, we got
so
it.
Check this out. Go to anthrax.com. You can check this out. I'm very proud of it. I wrote a story on this, One World, and a bunch of us, Scott did, a bunch of great writers, some great artists. Charlie did some great artwork in here. If you're an Anthrax fan, this is a must-have, I believe. So I'm very proud of this. And it's great to have this out now at Christmas time, along with my books. Yeah, I'm putting both of them in that product placement. But yeah, it's great to have things that because we're fans, that we know the fans would dig because we're fans ourselves. Because when I open that thing up, I'm like, oh my God, I can't believe my band is doing this. It's so cool. And I just say to other fans out there, when you read that thing, you can say, wow, it's just a cool thing to have, especially if you're an Anthrax fan. So check it out. It's from Among the Living. You know all the songs. Everybody knows the deal with that. There's been a lot of promotion on that. So I'm very proud of that. There's a lot of things going on. Perfect time for Christmas. You can get the duo. You get the Frank Bello book, and you can get the Anthrax book. See, it all works that way.
That's right.
I'm learning how to sell. Jack.
I'm not Vanna. You need some, but yeah. No, that's awesome. Well, so now you've done a lot of writing here. So are you kind of hooked? Is there going to be more writing output from Frank Bello in the future?
Book wise, it's funny because as soon as you finish your book, people want to know what's the second half of your book. And I get it. That book beat the hell out of me, to be honest with you. I had a big box of tissues. There's some certain parts in that, certain chapters in that book, specifically my brother's stuff and the abandonment stuff. I had a big box of Kleenex here. And I kept telling my co-writer, Joel, I said, dude, we're writing stuff down. I said, dude, I need a break. We took time. We took time, which we needed. And I had to get it all out. And I needed a break after that. I really needed a serious, because it was a cleansing, but then the after effect was like, whoa, what the hell? Because I relived it. I kind of relived my youth and that whole thing again. And some parts were really tough, but some parts were great. The Pantera stuff. There were days when I'd have some really nice drinks and just talked about my friend Dime and Vinny, the Metallica days, the great Anthrax days of touring with Kiss. There's just so many fun stories in the book that I'm very proud of. And the great thing about my co-writer Joel, he knows how to ignite these stories. He'll just say a line that will ignite the story in my head that I didn't even realize that was there, and it came flowing out. And it was just right back to that bar scene we were talking about, talking at a bar, two guys talking at a bar. And I think that's what people are getting from the book. They're getting like it's just a conversation. And it's a great compliment to us, because I think I don't want to be dictating to anybody. I just want you to be a friend, and I just want to be a friend and talk. Like, we're having a drink together. Let's just hang and let's just go through the book. And that's what people are getting. And that's what I'm very appreciative of when people say that in the reviews. That's exactly what I wanted to do with it.
Yeah, I agree. I'll try to keep it short. I have about 5 different responses to that, so I'll try to keep it short, because this is all about you. But I felt like, because again, being a Jersey guy, I felt like as I was reading this, I was like, I have hung out with these. It reminds me exactly of hanging out with my buds when I was growing up. The way you talked. And I think that was one thing I read about. I saw, obviously I was good going into it. I was like, oh, this is going to be rough. It's going to be a rough journey. But and just like as we're talking now, you keep it so positive and upbeat. It really made it easy to get through some dark stuff, some dark subject matter. But, your kind of upbeat and positive tone really, really helped.
Thank you, Jack.
So I don't know. So, yeah. I don't know how much, I guess what I'm getting at is, Joel, I know Joel McIver, your co-author, he's the man. He's done so many great books in the metal world. He's done some great stuff. So I mean, I guess that's where I'll go. Those are 2 comments. My question for you about that is, tell us a little bit about working with Joel McIver.
Well, the great thing about Joe, he makes me flow, and that's a rhyme, but I get it. But he lets me go on this. It's all rhymes. I'm going flow. Let's keep going with it. Joel said the great thing about this is he let me tell my story. This is my story. He didn't try to come in with things. I mean, he stopped me when I needed to be stopped, and he's a great confidant. Where I can say, what do you think about that? I could bounce off of him really easily, and not have to worry about it. He's a friend of mine. So I said, Joel, what do you think about this? Is this too much? I would ask him during the writing. I said, we're talking about this now on. I said, should I even? And I'm thinking, I have some things not jotted down. Should I talk about this? Is this too much? Well, it's your story, and as long as it was honest, and everything in this book is honest. There's no lies in this book. I can't lie, dude. I'm not into it. The truth of the matter is, he just let me go, and he didn't try to be the writer. And he has a way of really corralling a story where if I was going outside the boundaries, he would ask a question that would get me back in and get me back into that story. That's the great talent of Joel as being a co-writer. He'd bring me back in if I was going outside. Like, I probably have some ADD going. It is what it is. But I can go outside a little bit, and he'd ask a question that would just bring me back in, right? Focus more on the story, what I was just talking about. And that's important. That's important for a book. As painful as it was sometimes with those stories, but as fun as it was sometimes with the stories, and like with the drinking days and the helmet, when I played with helmet, those are all great days. Those stories are fun for me, and to relive them, it was fun for me to relive those stories. So again, for this book, there's a lot of yin and yang. There's a happy, and some people cry, some people laugh. I get both now, which is great from the comments and the letters I'm getting. It's like, and emails I'm getting. People cry, people laugh a lot. I guess it's everything, but it ends on a positive note, and that's the most important thing to me. I guess I wanted to take you on a journey. I think it's important when you read a book, you're on a journey. I want to keep you interested, and people are interested in this, and that's great. Stay on this journey of whatever life I've had so far, and what I leave you with is just you got to move on to tomorrow, and that's really important. So that's what I want to leave people with. It's because what else do you got, man?
Oh, perfectly said. Yeah, I'm gonna shut up and let read another question from a viewer. Paul Newman says, "Saw you at the Moors many times back in the early days. Question: when picking song lists for shows, do you ever not want to play a certain song?"
Well, Paul Newman, first I have to say I'm a big fan of your seasoning. Your dressing is delicious. So thank you right off the bat. And I was a big fan of your films also. Songs, here's what it is when you're in a band for this long and you play these songs caught in a mosh. I'll just pick that one. The thing I love and why the songs never, and this is the God's honest truth, this is why the songs don't get old, because you're living in that moment for that time on that show. You're playing it for the first time. Yeah, you've known the song in forever, you know what? I'm playing it for that show in that moment, in that time. And that crowd is different than yesterday's crowd. And that crowd's got to be turned on, and we got to go crazy together. We have to build this energy together. And what's going to get us there? That song. So that song is fresh as hell to me, man. I'm coming on with it, and it's going to make you feel the way you feel and me feel the way I feel. And we're going to build this energy, and it's going to explode. And we're going to have a good time, and you're going to walk out with a smile on your face, and so am I. I'm going to go home to the bus. And that's what's really important. That's why it never gets old to me.
Nice. All right, and I'm going to take off this chance right now and campaign for 2 songs I definitely want to hear next time I see you guys.
Here we go.
So you can say fuck off, Jack, but
I
definitely now obviously, well, The Enemy is one of my favorites. I've never heard you do live.
I love that song.
Yeah,
I love
great.
That song.
Great. Everything about it is great. That's maybe my favorite Anthrax song. I just love it.
Wow.
And then you could just throw a dart at Persistence of Time. Really, the whole album is just perfect. But maybe Discharge. Yeah, maybe
Discharge. Oh man, I love that song. It's a funny thing you say that, because I would love. We've jammed that. I don't know. We might have done that 1 or 2 shows, but that's one of those. That's some great riffage, and I just love how tight that band. I talk as a fan. I love how tight the band sounds in that. When you listen to it, there's a lot of great stops. Yeah, I'm in. It's, you know what it is. You know what it is, Jack, at this point, as I burp through this, you have so many songs in this career, and you have specific songs that people want to hear. Otherwise, they're pissed off at the show that they paid money for, which is really important. So you try to throw 1 or 2, maybe tops 3 different songs in. I would love to do different songs every night. I would love it, because it'd be very interesting to me. But I don't want to disappoint anybody who's coming in to see Got the Time or Caught in the Mosh and all that stuff. It's a balancing act, and it's a good problem to have, but I don't want to disappoint anybody. I honestly don't.
Yeah, no, I agree. Yeah, by the way, that's just me. I got to take this chance. But
believe me, I'm with you. I totally am. And believe me, I would love to do anywhere. I would do that song. Discharge is a great song. It's one of my favorite songs off that record, to be honest with you.
Yeah, I love it. All right, well, I know I've been through here for a little while. Like I said, if you're out there, if you have any more questions, we're going to wrap up in a couple more minutes. Got just a couple more questions, but I want to say again, thanks for the time. So let me see what else we got. We have. So I wanted to ask. So I see in the background we've got the Creature from the Black Lagoon. So that's a universal thing. It's not just Scott and Charlie. This is a universal thing in the band. The love of the universal creatures and
because Scott and Charlie promote it more than I do doesn't mean I don't love it. Right. I don't wear everything on my sleeve. I love, they could do whatever but I love this stuff. I've always loved this stuff, but I'm in my own cocoon. Obviously, I'm not a social media guru. As you can see, my whole thing, what I do on social media, I am trying. And if anybody has any better ideas to get me back in better at social media, I'm all ears. So I'm trying to get it, but I can't live it, because I love being a musician who likes to play and jam stuff on his own. I don't want to, and eventually I'll put it out there. But yeah, that stuff is where I live. I mean, that's for me, that's horror. That's fun horror. And I love the characters that they built. I love the background stories of them, all the films they've had. And I also love the black and white of it all. I think there's something very mysterious and something very special about black and white film. I've always loved that. I still love black and white film. All this stuff will be forever for me. It will be forever. They can't be touched. And when they try to remake these movies, they better bring it, because they really. I know that I've heard they're going to try and Universal's going to try and redo all these films, from The Creature to all these things. I don't know if that's going to happen or not, but I've read some comments and some rumors on it. If you're going to do it, man, you got a lot to live up to with these films, because they're classics.
Agreed. Yeah, I'm trying to reel in my nerdiness here, but I actually never watched the remake. It's not the Universal feature. I never watched the remake of The Day the Earth Stood Still, because I cherished the original so much. It's like
it was good. It was really good. It was really good. I'm sorry, you can't touch the classic. There was a vibe. There was this whole, I don't know, the look of it all. The look of it all. It was almost like well, the black and white does a lot. The black and white film does a lot. So for me, these films can't be touched. But I'm always willing to try. I'm always willing to try and look at because I want to go forward. See what happens. Try it in black and white first. I would love that.
Yeah, no, that's I agree. That's what I love the old black and white creatures too, like the original Dracula, the 1931 Dracula, and for the Bride. The Bride, that was just such great stuff.
Dude, how do you touch that? You know what I'm looking forward to though, going forward? Rob Zombie's The Monsters. I hope he does a great job. I have Rob's a lover of that stuff, so I'm hoping I'm sure. You know what? I'm confident he's going to do a good job with that. I'm interested to see because I've seen the characters already. I want to see what he goes with storyline. I hope he does a good job. I'm sure he will. He knows his stuff, that guy.
Yeah, and The Monsters was always metal. Like that theme was kind of metal.
It was metal, dude. Down. Come on, man. It's all good. I love that. It's all fun.
Well, and so before I let you, so this is a good way to go out, I think. But before I let you go, Dina Marie Burgess says she's looking for the book on the band website and can't find it. So do you have a recommendation for where to find?
This looks so set up right now. You know what I'm saying, Jack? This looks very set up, and it's not. But I'll leave you guys with this. This book, that book. If you want the signed edition, I signed my arm's still hurting from it. I signed so many of these things. The signed one is at rarebirdlit.com. If you go to my Instagram, at the Frank Bello, if you go to my Instagram, you can go to my bio. It's there. It's rarebirdlit.com. They have the signed copies you can get there. And if you don't want to get the signed copies, you can also get it on Amazon. Actually, I just saw it today. Is it Cyber Monday today?
It is, yeah.
There's a coupon for my book on. I just saw it. I was like, yeah, give it a coupon on my book. Cool. So give some people a break on some dollars, and because I have no control of that. Obviously, it's none of my thing. So go for it. So rarebirdlit.com has the signed copies that I personally signed. And Amazon also has them too without the signed one. So you can get them there.
Nice. Yeah, this seems so scripted, but it really wasn't. But
that was a great timing. It was all about timing there. Thank you.
I'm so glad you brought that up. I have to personally say thank you so much to Metal Maria, of course, and Alexandra from
Adrenaline. Yeah, she rocks. And Alexandra too from Rare Bird. They're a great team. I have a great team behind me with this book. We're really, really doing it up, and they're doing a great job promoting it. I'm very proud of them.
Oh yeah, they were amazing. They were super helpful. They were, when I they were perfect. So Dina says she got it. All right, we have what? You got what time for one more question? Or one more
dude, I'm here. What am I doing? I have to go upstairs and eat dinner later. So
Joseph Lampo says, Frank, I still have the clip from the Big Four film where you're using glue to close your fingertips. A true badass.
Oh, thank you for that. But it's funny it's funny that these fingertips right here. I'm gonna get them in. When you don't play in a while, you don't get those great calluses right here. And you're off tour for a while and you don't play every night, you don't have those calluses. So what you saw in that film was me not playing every night. Like you could play by yourself, but the stage is a different animal. You play a lot harder, a lot deeper and all that stuff. So what you see there, that's the only way I found to really close that cut up, because think about it. If you hit the string, I'll get the bass for you for a second. You get a string and you're plucking, right? Say this is your middle finger and that's the one that's cut, right? Guess what? That little slit that turns into a bigger slit that's bleeding right there? That piece of wire right there is going right in the middle of it and spreading it apart every time you pluck. So that's that glue, that crazy glue. That's what you have to close it. And I don't know if it's toxic or I have no idea, but that's the only thing that works for me. I mean, it literally closes, but then you can't say you wash your face after that. Then you're scraping your face because it feels like a piece of hard plastic scraping. You're washing, and you have more cuts in your head. It's great. It's a great time.
Well, you can put glue on your head then, right?
Yeah, glue on your head, glue in your eye. You wash your eyes out. It's like, it's great. It's a wonderful time.
No, it's great. Well, since he went there, I gotta ask about Am I Evil, man? Of course, that's near and dear to me, of course. But that's how incredible all you guys playing that together. I mean, it just gives me chills. Even that's incredible. Talk to us about having like all 16 guys or whatever you had on stage just going through that song.
It was a great thing, and it's over 10 years now. So for me, just to have all of us together, again, you grow up in this business, in this movement. that this thrash metal thing was, and you celebrate it like that. I tip my hat to Metallica. I've said this in a lot of interviews because I mean it. I even told James this a couple of weeks ago when I saw him. I thank them for that. That's a great thing. They didn't have to bring out these other three bands because they could have played those places on their own. It was special because the other three were there. It was very special. But I thought that was very big of Metallica, and showing the character of Metallica to make this a celebration. The Big Four was a celebration of this music, and I thought it was very, very important. I loved it. That Am I Evil? That was a great time on stage. It was. If you think the Chill is like that now, imagine that how it was on stage. It was incredible to look around and you see everybody from every band, all of us growing up together and celebrating it on that stage. It was incredible. It was still, when I watch that, when I still see a video of that, it's like, oh, man, that was a good time. It was, I'm glad we did that. That was a mark in a time of our lives. I love that.
Well, all right. So I know that Slayer's in retirement, but hopefully you guys. I won't even ask as a question. I won't put you on the spot, but I'll just say, hopefully you can get them out for maybe a special show or something. You can do one more Big Four or something. That'd be cool.
I'd do it tomorrow if it was up to me, because it's it's up to Metallica to get the other bands to get them all out. I'm ready. I'll call my friends in Slayer. I have no problem with calling them and try to get them out. Come on, one more time, whatever it takes, but I'll be happy to call my friends in Slayer if Metallica wanted to do it again for a special show. I love to do it.
All right. Well, you heard it here. All right. Frank Bello just promised that. No, he didn't promise anything. I'm just kidding.
No promise. I wish I could. but I don't have that power. I'm just Frank Bello.
Yeah. Well, it's been an honor, man. And it's been great. You live up to who the guy in the book and the guy who I grew up, watching on videos and listening to. So
thanks,
it's been an honor. Thanks so much for the time. Thanks so much for hanging out. Thanks for the great books. And we'll be looking forward to more Anthrax. Oh shit, I can't let us go. All right, I promise. Last question. I promise.
Okay, I'm here, dude. I'm not going anywhere.
But what can you tell us about Anthrax in 2022? What can we look forward to?
Okay, what I promise the Anthrax publicist who's watching everything I do, and I love her, Heidi Fitzgerald. She's awesome. What I promised her, I'd say, we are writing a record. There will be a record. I don't know when. It's very heavy, and I'm very happy with it for what we have, and we're going to continue writing. How about that? There will be a record, though.
That's perfect. Actually, I've exchanged emails we worked with Heidi to talk to Charlie at the beginning of the year, so I don't want to piss her off either. She was also wonderful.
She's awesome, but I promised her we won't say more than that because it's about writing right now, and it's in a good place. I think I'm happy right now, so I think everybody will be happy. I'm a fan, so remember, I think I'm very psyched for the future.
Looking forward to it. All right, thank you, everyone. Thank you, Frank.
Jack, thank you so much, brother. Thank you, everyone, for the questions.